Welcome. I'm Leslie Canham.
I'm Mary Gavoni.
I'm Linda Harvey.
I'm Olivia Wan, and together we are the Compliance Divas.
Welcome to the Compliance Divas podcast. This is Linda Harvey, and I will be your moderator for this episode. Today, the Divas are particularly excited because we are celebrating Dental Assistants Recognition Week. And it's a very special time to give recognition to a wonderful member, or members, as I should say. There's usually more than one dental assistant on a team who wear many hats in the dental practice. So we're excited to have with us today Sarah Stream. Sarah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Well, I'm going to let our divas ask you a few questions so that our listeners can get to know you better. And if we miss anything, we're going to circle back and ask for any other gems that we can share because you've done some exciting things throughout your career. Mary, would you mind kicking us off with our first question?
Oh, I'd love to. And I will add my welcome, Sarah. I'm so excited that you're here with us because you're such an amazing example to dental assistants out there of the many things that you can do within the dental profession and still claim that title of dental assistant. So tell us, Sarah, how did you become an assistant and what do you love most about the profession of dental assisting?
Well, first, I just want to start off by saying Happy Dental Assistants Recognition Week to all the assistants out there that might be listening. Celebrate yourselves. It is such a special week and you deserve it. And thank you for the question, Mary. I started out as a dental assistant in 2007, and I really started because I needed to have a professional career. I had just had my oldest son, and I needed to have something that I could call a career and grow into and not just a job. So decided to go to dental assisting school. At that time, it was a 60-week program. And my career just kind of blossomed from there. I was really very excited and passionate about dentistry once I got into it. I had no idea I would love it so much, but here we are. And I think that just growing your career and your education is always a lifelong journey. So for anybody out there that has questions about where they're going, just keep pushing because you deserve it.
So Sarah, talking about pushing forward with your education and everything, could you talk to our listeners about some of your education? Because I know you've taken time to really advance in that area.
Yeah, education has always been something that's been very important to me. I'm always wanting to learn more, learn the next biggest thing. What else is out there? What else can I be doing? And so after I got my dental assisting degree, at that time it was an Associate's of Occupational Studies in Dental Assisting. I was a chairside dental assistant for about 5 years and decided I wanted to get into teaching. But to be an educator for dental assistants, you have to have a bachelor's degree. So got my bachelor's degree, and lucky for me, they really don't care what your bachelor's degree is in. So I just have a bachelor's degree in small business management. But after that, I really wanted to kind of hyper focus things. I was very passionate about infection control and about the public health side of things. So I went on to get my master's degree in public health. And I graduated in 2019. So it's been a few years for that one. And that master's degree really opened up a lot of doors to see what else was out there as far as, dental public health goes. In addition to traditional education, I also was able to get some certification. So I became a CDA, Certified Dental Assistant, in 2007 when I started dental assisting. And then in 2019, I got my CDIPC, which is the Certification in Dental Infection Prevention and Control.
Sarah, that is amazing. And you, again, are such a great example and an inspiration to dental assistants out there to know that there is more. What always breaks my heart is the attitude on the part of some dental assistants that the only upward mobility within dentistry would be to become a hygienist, which is one of the things I did in my dental career, or to become a dentist. And there's nothing wrong with either one of those. But I think what happens when those people view that as the only option, that we lose so many brilliant minds from dental assisting that I think can truly help us grow this profession and help to gain more recognition.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you, in my span of, gosh, I don't even, 19 years now, 19, 18 years. I can't do math on the fly. Um, in my career span, I have held almost every position in a dental office outside of hygiene or dentist. So I've been an assistant, I've been a surgical assistant, I've been a lab tech for an office. I actually worked in a lab for a few years, and that was a super fun experience. And I think a pathway that a lot of dental assistants don't even think about. I was also an office manager. And I applaud all the office managers out there. I could not do it. I didn't make it very long as an office manager. I kind of have to be a mover and a goer and in direct patient care. But there are just so many opportunities out there outside of being a chairside assistant. I was also in sales for a little while and discovered that I can't sell anything, but that's okay.
Sarah, I think I would beg to differ that you're doing a great job selling oral health to patients, and you're making a difference in the lives of all those that you've taken care of. So I think those are unique areas. So thank you for shedding some light on some different hats that dental assistants could look at when or if they should be ready to step outside of a clinical practice. Sarah, our diva Olivia Wan has a question for you. So, Olivia?
Thank you, Linda and Sarah. We are so pleased to have you on our podcast, and I really enjoyed getting to know you better at the recent ADS meeting, and I applaud your educational background. And I think you just proved the point that if you want more, you go ahead for it. You just didn't sit back and wish it would happen. You made it happen, Sarah. So we're very happy for you. And we want to know more about your newest role at Danby.
Yeah, well, thank you for the kind words, Olivia, and it was fantastic to get to know you better as well at boot camp. So my most recent career adventure, I guess you could call it, I was recently hired onto Danby Dale Foundation as their education product manager. So I'll be working very closely with Jen Price and helping manage all of the educational offerings that are through the Dale Foundation. So all of the exam prep courses, practice tests, and any new education that comes out.
That's incredible. So just think about the influence that you have working in this new role with all of the new potential dental assistants. And I think this example that you're setting is great because, as the other divas mentioned, it proves that there's more to do beyond clinical chairside assisting, that all that foundational knowledge that you gain is helpful now. Did you ever think it would work out this way?
Oh my gosh, not in a million years. There's this running joke with a few of my friends that every 4 to 5 years I have a new position. And they're like, you're all over the place. You're in an office and then you're in another office and now you're doing sales and now you're at a lab and now you're teaching. And my comeback is always, yeah, but it's always a step forward. It's always a step to do more, to be able to help people more, to be a better leader. So, I may kind of be all over the place, but it's been a wonderful journey.
I think it makes your occupation even more enjoyable because of all these facets that you have experienced and you enjoy and you continue to grow and think about the example that you're setting for other people. So your illustrious career is quite impressive.
Well, thank you.
And I think it also illustrates to our fellow dental assistants is that don't be afraid to try something new. And that's exactly where you were. It took your passion, you looked for something new, you weren't afraid to step into a lab and see what it was about and grow in that area, or the office management. You may find out that something like that wasn't your exact cup of tea, but it helped to propel you moving forward, as Olivia mentioned.
Absolutely.
Sarah, our diva Leslie Canham couldn't be here today, but Leslie wanted me to ask you about some of the biggest highlights of your career. And we know that you recently presented, at the ADS or Association for Dental Safety. So, what are some things that you would highlight that, for other dental assistants to be thinking about?
Oh gosh. Well, presenting at boot camp this year was definitely a highlight. That organization just has so much to offer, not only in membership, but in the relationships that you build through the association. And I just had a blast presenting at boot camp. It was so much fun. I think some other highlights of my career, I am very proud that I built the dental assisting program at the community college that I taught at. It was an existing program, but I'm very proud that we graduated a lot of girls that went on to be great dental assistants that I still keep in contact with. And I think that's probably one of my most favorite things is when they reach out to you and say, thank you, or I have a question. Can I still ask you a question? Just being able to help and support them. I was also lucky enough to be awarded the ADS Emerging Leader in Infection Control Award this last year, which was a huge surprise when it happened. But I guess I must be doing the right things that people have noticed. So lots of fun things have happened.
Undoubtedly, you're doing all the right things, Sarah. And I think your recognition is just so well deserved, and we couldn't be more proud and thrilled for you. So, just hoping that our dental assistants listening today can take some of these ideas and areas that you've worked in. Not that we're encouraging them to leave the dental practice, right? Because we know doctors never want to lose a good dental assistant, but sometimes people are looking for more. And when a dental assistant is looking for more, like Olivia said, it's just good to know you can go out and you can make it happen and not be afraid to take that first step, because there's such a great wealth of support networks, whether it's Association for Dental Safety, the CDA that you're a member of, or just any of the other groups that exist for just somebody to get support and mentorship and assistance as they make that step. So I wanted to ask you one thing, Sarah. I know with your diverse and rich career beyond private practice, didn't you do some consulting for the state of Nebraska? Am I remembering that correctly?
So working with the state of Nebraska, that was my last full-time position. I worked as a part of the Nebraska ICAP team, and we were funded by the CDC to help support medical facilities in their infection control needs. And all of that kind of stemmed from the Ebola outbreaks in 2014. That's kind of where all the funding started. And I was lucky enough that the medical director and supervisor of that team included dentistry in the different setting types. So we were able to go out into dental facilities in Nebraska and help them with their infection control and make the state a safer place.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that. I think Mary had a follow-up question for you as well.
I did. Sarah, many of our listeners may not know that you were one of the participants in a study that was conducted on dental unit water lines, and that study was published in the Journal of the American Dental Association. So can you tell us a little bit about that experience? Because that's way cool.
Yeah, it is. It is very cool. I think that's another one of my career highlights is being published in JADA. And just as a teaser, I may have a couple more items being published here this year. But this article we wrote last year, I worked with the ADA. Back then it was the science and research part of the ADA. I know that's changed recently to the Forsyth Institute now, but we did a extensive survey that we sent out to dental professionals on their waterline, dental unit waterline habits and knowledge and attitudes. And so we did this survey, gathered all the data, and then we were able to kind of look at the data and see what exactly is going on with dental unit water lines across the nation. So it was a very cool study. You can find it in JADA. I don't have any of the publication information, but if you search for me in JADA, you'll find it.
We can also link it in our resources for the podcast as well.
Yeah.
Great idea, Mary. Thank you for bringing that up. it just goes to show you that there's so many things that we can be invited to that we don't even realize that the door will open when people see you or hear you and you reach out. You never know. So I'm particularly thrilled that you've had a chance not only to impact patients directly through patient care, like all of us have in our roles as dental assistants and hygienists over the years, but you're also impacting those who take care of patients, is what we're all doing as divas and consultants, because you're impacting the clinicians themselves with more knowledge and information. So I think that's just such a great feeling when you watch that ripple effect. And like you as a former educator, you love it when your students come back and remember you and ask you questions, because it's very endearing, because there's a good feeling knowing that what you did made a difference. May not have felt that way at the moment teaching the students, right?
That's right. Lots of struggles,
but in the end, ultimately so.
Yes.
Sarah, any tips or advice that you would want to share to someone who may be thinking about making a change? Is there anything that pops up that we haven't talked about?
Oh gosh, I would just tell them, don't be afraid to take that first step of whatever it is. I was really passionate about education, and in order to do that, I found out what I had to do to be an educator, and I took that first step. I applied for my bachelor's degree to start classes, and then just start building on it, and do what you can do at the time. When I got my bachelor's degree, I was a single mom, and I did classes online when I could. When I got my master's degree, I was a single mom and worked full time and took classes in the evenings. And so just do what you can, but don't be afraid to take the first step.
Yeah, that's great. Don't let fear hold us back. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah. It's been a pleasure having everybody get to know you. Before we get ready to sign off, I'd like to share with any of our listeners who may be new to dentistry what DANBI stands for. DANBI is the Dental Assisting National Board, and it's a great place where you can find quality-driven information and courses. If you're new to dentistry, you can check out those resources. We'll put the link in the show notes for taking just an introductory class on sterilization or PPE, for example. So great information all the way around. Thanks again, Sarah.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. Well, we are thrilled to be celebrating dental assistants in a very special way, because we believe that they fulfill a very crucial role in the dental team, wearing many different hats, from equipment maintenance to taking care of patients to sterilization and all the other areas. So we recognize and applaud all of our dental assistants this week. As the Compliance Divas, we bring clarity and simplicity to compliance by navigating the regulatory world to keep you on course. We invite you to subscribe to our podcast through your favorite podcast channel or on our website, thecompliancedivas.com. And your questions are always welcome. Please send those to support@thecompliancedivas.com. And we invite you to scroll down at the end of this podcast or social media channel and leave us a review. We look forward to seeing you next time.